Is your host Gabriel Phoenix, and welcome to another action-packed day. That's right, we have such filled with adventure and everything and part of it. So let's get to it. And for those people who are wondering, Gabriel, what kind of game you're playing? It's Lord of the Rings Rise to War. Remember, there is a download link in the description. Please click it and download it if you haven't downloaded it yet, and come and join us. We're about to enter into season 2. We will be actually talking about that. It's technically season 3 because I played beta, and I played how season 1 is. So we're technically going to be going into season 3 in Lord of the Rings. So it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff to go by. There's a lot of things that we need to do. Just to let you know, folks, there is a lot of stuff to go over. So today we're going to go over some unit buildings, unit builds, as well as some special units and how to go over there. But I think what I'm going to show you guys before then is something very magical. Now, before I continue on with the video, you guys may notice that I've been doing like 2 videos in a week, and I've been trying to do 3. Well, there's a main reason for that. I've been having some terrible back pains because I work 10 hours a day, then I stream, and then I do all my work, and I cook, and I try to fill my day with much. But we actually got that taken care of. I was finally able to get my chair, a brand new computer chair, and I'm getting a standing desk. So that way, well, it's electronic standing desk, so that way it goes up and down, and I don't have to worry why I work. And about sitting down so long. It's for health reasons. I'm going to be able to do that. So I will be able to make some more videos coming in the future. I'm going to be increasing the quality of my videos. Been learning a lot about video technology on doing live streaming because I know how to do some video editing. We're just going to be it's a little different when you're doing it live and you're doing all your videos live. So for people who didn't know, yes, all the videos are live. You're more than welcome to join us. We usually do it 10 p.m. Standard Eastern Time, which is my time. For Rise of Warlord, that you'll know is server time is 1900. For Lord of the Rings, it is about 2 UTC. 2 o'clock UTC is exactly when we usually come on, or like 1:50 UTC. As you can see in the corner right there. Now, let's get into some units. But before then, you see this beautiful land that's 300. Let's go capture that real quick. So, you're probably wondering, well, Gabriel, that's a lot more powerful than the units you have. And you would be right. Except for, we know how to definitely override them. All right, there you go. And here comes the Saint, come marching in. Here comes the Saint, come marching in. Woo! As they come and beat the building. And we're gonna win, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so when you are taking, this is just something a little extra, when you are taking a high level land like this, what you want to do is take the power and multiply 3. Anything over 200, this is what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to have the army power that is close to about 2.5 and 3 times that power. For that, I didn't explain it in the other videos. I meant to explain it and it kind of slipped by me, so I'm just going to explain it really quick in this unit because it's also important on the unit reviews about what type of units to use. We're going to go into that. We're going to go into what kind of units you're going to use for PvP, what kind of units you're going to use for PvE. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. He has like a pure tier 4. It's about 4,500 on that level 50. Crazy. He's going in there. They're going in there. It's all about party time. Excellent. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, look. Oh, that's pretty nice there, too. Look at that. So that means we did defeat the first guy. Yeah, we defeated the first guy. They're coming in. They're going to be doing the rest of the damage. And I'm pretty sure we won. Yes. There you go. We captured that. Boom. 300. And I could easily capture these two as well. Okay. So let's go into the main meat and why everybody's here. You guys are all here because you want to see some units. You want to know, well, Gabriel, evil faction, so underpowered, so not fair, good faction, overpower. And you're absolutely right, 100%. But there's ways around it, ways that you yourself can actually be able to overcome those odds. As you can see there, one way to do it is go over by power and units. Yes, you're going to have to, really dish it out. Look at all those units. It's like 10,000 units. Half of my pocket carry was filled up. But yeah, you're going to definitely do it, man. Like, he took from 60 to there. He was a 50, so he took a little damage. Got wiped out. Well, these guys a little bit. But he went to 16. He went to 18. He went to 15. Right there. Okay. So, let's get into it. Boom, boom. Okay. So, there's a couple of things you have to know when selecting the units. One, what type of commander you're using. Two, how strong of a unit do you want to have? And three, what is the better units to start off early game and going in forward? Okay, if you're Agmar, you're going to go with these. You're going to go with the archer line into the crossbow, because the new crossbows are amazing. If early game, they are the best units to use in Agmar for crossbow. Crossbows are for early game because one, there's conscription time is like ridiculously low. Really, you can make a lot of them. Really low, and they have double attack. They're able to wipe out easy lands like level 60, level 90 lands, power levels. I'm talking about easy without any fight with them. Really great one. Arbanblast, I think we're going to call them Morguls. The Morguls are really a solid unit. I thought they were only great for PvE, but I actually investigated a lot, and they are fantastic as far as PvP too go, but only certain commanders, and you have to max out their abilities. You have to get these two all maxed out. I do have mine maxed out. Let's go over here. I'll show you what they are maxed out. Boom. 20% it's poison damage. And they're going to have a chance attacking 2 times with a 75% chance. That is 15%. Now, I will say the poison damage is reflecting off. Now, I'm going to be very honest. These units are only good on certain types of commanders. And that's going to be for units, well, commanders that are actually strong in focus power. You don't want them to have pure brute or strength. You want them to have pure focus damage. So you're going to go here, like him, you're going to put it on him. Why? Because it's going to give the poison damage a lot higher in production and damage. And now think about this. With him, you're putting poison, units with poison on them. That damage is boost by 132. And what's great is that you're getting a 20% boost on poison damage. It's a lot of damage, my friend, and they come happening twice. You have a high probability of attacking twice. So commanders that you want to use, because I have almost every commander. I do. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be really honest here. I have almost every single commander. I think I even could get this commander. Oh, not yet. Well, I could have, but I don't like him. He's ugly. Gabriel, they're all ugly. It's not the point. Just don't want them, okay? Leave me alone. No, I just don't feel like getting them. I have way too many commanders to begin with. I have almost all the epics, and I'm almost done getting this guy here, the legend. So I will have about 3 legendaries. 1, 2, 3 legendaries. I almost have Witch King. Very disappointed I didn't get him, but it's okay. And then him, I'm nowhere close to getting him, and I have all the rares here. So when you're using the Morguls, I'm gonna call them Arc Blasters, Arpenblast, or Appenbliss. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I pronounce a lot of things wrong. So the Morgul Arc Blast, the main units, the kind of commanders you want to use them on, you're gonna of course use them with the Legion of Shadows, which is Nargols. I think that's how you say it, Narzuls. But pretty much you're gonna use it on Kamal. You're gonna use it on Shadow. You're gonna use it with Sauron. You're gonna use it on Witch King, and you're gonna use it on Undying. Undying is actually pretty good on stat wise. Actually, no, sorry, Undying is strength. I forgot about that. It's actually Witch King is really good for that. Now, if I remember, let me see his skill set here. He doesn't receive any focus boost. That's right. He only receives focus boost on his 2nd level and not his 3rd level. So you don't want to use focus units on him. You want to use mostly damage, but that's another video. We'll go in each and every video what kind of commanders and what their builds are, what units you want to do. For this, what you want to do is really focus on units that have a high power and focus. So right here, 250, 360. Him, he's 290, he's 229. But Black Serpent, we'll talk about him in another video too. But anyways, we'll get him with Shadow. Now Shadow's very interesting. You can use either war. It's pretty good on that. Use that. You want to use Mouth of Sauron. That right there, you can use those blasters on it. Wonderful. Works really well. And that's about it. So there's not a lot of really commanders that you want to use them on. It's like a handful of commanders that you want to put them on. Now, I was trying them with all different types of commanders, and they really are not the best. If you don't put them on those commanders with high focus damage, they're not going to do the potential that they're meant to do. Let's see if I can actually pull up the main reason why I also did that. Here, so let's play. Yes, that was his battle. So let's play this video so that way you can see what kind of damage they did. So right here we have about 3,300, so you're going to be able to see them fully in effect. Let's go here. So by the way, this way you can also see what kind of army and ridiculousness they have. So they're doing burn damage. We're going to see how it goes. We're just waiting for them to attack. They are slow. That's fine. Don't let that worry you so much. Okay, they're healing there. Dealing focus damage there. Okay. Now, we're going to see if they actually hit. There you go. There you go. Boom. There's 2,000 plus. There you go again. Another damage here. So they're going to be doing a decent amount of damage. So what I topped out and I saw in total is that they can at least do about 6,000 damage by themselves. That's not that's including your first poison damage if it goes off. There you go. There's 2,000 right there. Hey, how you doing, Zoe? This is good. So there you go. They got the double attack. Boom! There goes the poison damage. So right there, that was about 5,000 damage just on the one unit, which is a pretty decent amount of damage going for them because they are attacking twice. So they're actually going to have a good advantage if they have somebody who's doing high amounts of focus damage. We're going to be, and by the way, for people who just got into the stream, we're actually talking about the Morguls archers right there. They are doing really good. They're consistently doing damage. I love Dragoons. We'll get into that in a moment. But yes, so as you're seeing with the poison damage doing one time, they're actually going to be getting about 5,000 damage per round. So that's really good. Now the other guy, this is a level 300. A level 300 land. This guy has maxed out everything, power, legendary, boom, 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 whatever. So that's for those guys. That's what you want to build with them. You want to keep remembering that with those type of units. Let's go back here. With those type of units here, you want to focus on putting commanders with high focus damage, because that percentage of poison will go in there. It's 20% is high, and then it does double the attack. You do get 100 units. They're really good. You'll be able to do really well with them. That's why I highly recommend. They're really great against certain mount units. Mount units they're good against. They're good against armor units, because for people who don't understand, when you are fighting somebody with high defense, if you actually use high focus damage like poison and burn, it actually goes through their defense and it actually causes true damage. So that's damage that they can't really stop and they can't really do anything about. It's really good. I really like doing it. It's a lot of fun. All right, so let's go on to the next unit. This is another great unit right here. These are Berserkers. Now, Berserkers beforehand used to be... They used to suck. I'm not gonna lie, Berserkers were not the best unit at all. So, one of the biggest things that they needed was a slight damage boost, and they needed an HP boost. They did it. And what they went one step ahead, and they made the conscription time for them reduce a lot, so they're able to do more. These units are fantastic. Highly recommend them for people who actually are starting in Isengard, not Isgard. Isengard. People who start in Isengard, you're actually going to take a big advantage with these units. They are amazing. These units here, the Berserkers, are 100% amazing. They do a lot of damage. You can do a lot of focus. So let's take a look at that. Ba-bum. Let's go with somebody who actually stood in there. By the way, that's my Discord. A lot of people in my Discord, they come and mention, and they talk with me. We actually do a pretty good amount. Let's see here. Now, should I? Okay, let's see how a pure Berserker Squad is. I don't know if it did damage. We're gonna see right now if it just drops. Okay, so there's 1,500 of tier 4s. Those are tier 4 units. 100% tier 4 units right there that we're going to be fighting. So, now Berserkers are not the fastest. They are pretty slow, but let's see here. Look, 4,000 damage already done. As 4,000 damage, gradually increasing against tier 4 units. They're going to do 14. Now we're gonna come back. And look at that, 16,000 damage. Did you see that, folks? That's 16,000, another 4,500, because there's 3 squads of Berserkers, so it's gonna happen in 1, 2, 3. That's what it's gonna be played for people who are confused. Look at that, 14,000 damage. This is just Berserkers, and that's a tier 4. Those are all tier 4 units. So it doesn't matter if I had 6,000 of them. That's a tier 4 unit all along. They have, and that's cavalry, and I believe their defense is like crazy high. So now Berserker units are truly amazing. They can deal a lot of damage, but one of the problems is the more rounds that continue on, the worse their damage gets. But if you have lose, which is this commander here, you don't have to worry so much about that. He actually makes all of the Uric fighters do amazing. The hybrid orcs benefit from this commander, and we're gonna go into that. I'm gonna tell you which commanders are great for this unit too. So he does 5,800 on me. We do another 13,000. That's just ridiculous amount of damage. If you guys are seeing the damage that these Berserkers are doing, and they're cheap, you can make a lot of them. You can fill up a whole team. I got 6,000. You can do a lot of damage with Calla Dune. Now that's a good question. So I'll get into that really quick. So Calla Dune, that's the legendary. We'll go into that real quick on that one. But lose is really good. So let me finish with the Berserkers, and we'll go into that commander. So with Berserkers, the type of commanders that you want to do is commanders with high, very, very high physical. So you want to give it to Luz, you want to give it to Agzok, I think that's how you pronounce his name, because they're going to have high physical damage. Just look at that, 316 automatically. And what's good about him, when you put Berserkers on him, he actually does a buff for those type of units right here. So he has a buff that gives him 35% chance of recovering 100% HP after dealing damage. Wonderful. All Uric high units are going to benefit. He does really great with them. Those are what you want to do. And look, you get that plus damage receive on you, but you're going to increase their damage output. And right there, you're dealing physical damage next turn. That's okay. Don't really need that. I'm not a big fan of his level 3. It's mostly his level 5 that really does really great. Because right here, this ability matches the Berserkers 100%. The Berserkers will benefit this because every round, remember, every round Berserkers loses damage. So every round, you're going to actually boost the Berserkers, and that will offset the reduction. As you see in the beginning, we did about 17,000 damage. It went to 13,000. With this ability here on tier 5 that we unlocked, and I'm almost done on him at tier 5, I think. Yeah, there you go. I just made tier 5. With that kind of ability to get to tier 5, you'll be able to offset all of that. Now, I wouldn't bother with doing, if you're focusing on pure damage, don't do burn or anything, because truth be told is, it's not going to help you. It really is not going to help you at all. It's just one of those things that you're going to be physical damage, not focus. You got to focus on that. There are heroes where you can do both, and we'll go into that a little bit later. He's another great one as well. He does really good. He is just a balancer. Focus damage, strength, strength. He is more of a support. Okay, here's the other guy. For you guys start off with him really well. He's a really great guy to do with Berserkers as well because of this. He's just increasing his might like crazy. And look at that ability. He's easy to get to a rank 5 with Berserkers. You're able to benefit that. So you're able to do a lot of damage. And you don't even need a legendary or anything of that such. He does amazing, and he's good with orcs too, but that's not the most important thing. Now, let's go into another unit. So, I have somebody in stream asking me what to use for Calla Dune. So, Calla Dune, so let's go over here. First, let's... Sorry if I did that too quick. So let's go into Calla Dune. No, not him. Sorry. Calla Dune. Calla Dune. Calla Dune. What is Calla Dune? Calla Dune is... Is he the elf guy? I'm trying to remember. Let me look at something here. I'm trying to remember. Calla Dune is... What unit do you use with Calla Dune? Calla Dune. Who's Calla Dune again? Give me a second. I'll tell you. I remember. Sometimes I forget their names with the commanders. He is Calla Dune. Okay. All right. I know. Okay. I apologize. He's the tier 1 commander. Yeah. He's the human. He's this guy right here. Boop. Calla Dune, right there. So I got him already to rank 3. I can make him rank 5. I haven't really done it that much. Now for Calla Dune, he actually is kind of unique. If I remember, yeah, it was Orc and Evil Men, but he's not really a damage dealer. If I remember, normal damage, blah 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 blah, and then you do poison. You don't want to do poison with him. Poison attack. No, you don't want to do that with him. Chance of reducing damage. Okay, so if I was to build this guy, honestly, what I would build with him is, of course, Evil Men. Evil Men, giving them the chance to attack twice is phenomenal. As well as they get a benefit here where they reduce damage that they receive. So the way how I would build them unit-wise is build them pure Evil Men. So that'll go into the next unit we're doing. Boop, 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 boop. Here. Okay, so I would build them with Dragoons, of course. He must have Dragoons. This unit right here is going to be really helpful. They are amazing, giving them double the strike, plus they have resistance against range, and they have a negative damage on reduce for just regular damage, period. Now, a lot of you are saying, well, that's good. It's also for focus damage. So they're able to reduce focus damage as well as physical damage with 10%. And don't forget, they can also reduce damage from ranged units, especially if those ranged units does fire damage, like burn damage or poison damage. It will reduce as well. These units are some of the best units that evil factions have. Dragoons are really worthwhile. I really like them a lot. They do a lot of damage. They're able to really tank. They're fast. They're just crazy amount. So I would put the Dragoons, and then I would put with the spear units. Forgot how to say that. So those are the ones right there. I'll do that in a moment. Those are the ones right there that I would do really well. So you can do about double the damage with these units. Now, I like the ability right here where they perform a counter attack. The counter attack actually has about, I think when it's max level, it is about 12% or 15%, I think it is. I'm trying to remember the max level. But the anti-mount units really work really well. And when you reduce and another reason why you want to use it on that commander of the Calla Dune is because he actually is able to increase, he's actually able to do the increased defensive reducing damage. And these units right here with the Dragoons, perfect match for Calla Dune, because not only are they going to receive the reduced damage from them, but for the commander himself, see, boom, the commander himself, he's also going to give them reduced damage as well. And give them that double attack. Now, there is another unit you could use on him. And these are one of my favorite units. But before we get into the second unit that we're going to use on him, because there is a combo that you can use that are not evil men. You're like, well, Gabriel, I don't want to use all evil men. Is actually a better setup? There is a better setup for Calla Dune. I just remembered it right now. Please forgive me. This is actually really good. But before we go on that, I'm going to show you guys actually some Dragoons, so you can see how they work and how amazing they are when dealing with high damage. So let's see here. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of Dragoons and Rider here. So let's take a look. We're facing 4,000 of tier 4s, right? So with this right here, you got yourself ready. And we have ourselves about 1,700 of Dragoons and 1,700 of Riders. So right here, we're going to be attacking. We're doing some good damage buffing. Well, sorry, we're doing some good focus buffing. And right there's healing going on. And there's a unit. It's going to be dealing 1,500. That's from my personal commander. He's going to do. So let's see here. Now, he's using tier 4 mounts. Boom, there you go. That was Rider doing that much damage. And there you go. It's about 6,000 damage they're going to do to tier 4s. Now, those are tier 4 units. Tier 4 units. Tier 3 units add another 3,000 damage. That's how much damage those Dragoons do. They are crazy good. So if you're doing that kind of damage and you're giving them double the attack, it's crazy, crazy good. Now, the other units that I was talking about is Riders. Riders will be excellent with Calla Dune, especially if you have the max rank. This is how I would build him and how I do build him when I'm filling them up. If I'm not like, you know, throwing them to lands and stuff, because I have so many commanders, it's kind of hard to balance everything else out. So with Calla Dune, the next unit that I would actually give him is actually Riders. Go right here. Let's go into Riders. Riders are fantastic. They are one of my favorite units in the evil factions. At first I didn't like them because I was like, whatever. But then when I really got to use them, trackers, tier 2 trackers, tier 3 Riders, amazing. Even tier 2 trackers still have functionality after the fact of you upgrading to pure 100% Riders. Riders are amazing. Again, they're going to have that mount unit expertise against. They're going to do extra damage to them. They're also going to reduce their damage. And another great thing about them is that they're orcs. Why is that so great, Gabriel? Why is that great to put on that commander? Well, as you remember before, with this commander here, he has a reduction. Oh, no, that's not him. Sorry. Boop. He has a reduction with orcs and evil men. So you can build him a straight rider team and just do a pure mount unit team with riders and as well as evil men. I would build it this way. I would, of course, you have to max this out, which is not a problem. It gives him more in his might. I will max out this evil man with orcs and receiving damage over there, so you get an abundant of that. Then what I'll do is I would max out this. Okay, evil man. Yes, I will max out this here, giving them a 50% chance of reducing damage by 20%. And then I would upgrade this all the way to a level 7, so that way you get that extra benefit. Now, the against 2 unit here, I wouldn't really do that well with. I wouldn't really bother with that, to be honest with you. It's not as impressive. It's not as good. But I would do this. I would actually definitely be upgrading Iron Guard, which was a 50% reduction in physical damage by, I think when you max it out, it is close to 20%. So what you want to do is you want to be able to reduce those units and all the damage that are applied on them, because what it's going to do is create them survivability. And that's actually a really good commander with both. You know, you can do them both. You can grind them out. He's really great. He'll probably beat most epics, and even first ranked tier legendaries won't be able to do anything against him if you have a Rider and Dragoon squad. Even if you're level 40 and they're level 50, you're guaranteed to really do some damage to them and probably take out about 40%, if not 50%, of a level 50 commander with Riders and Dragoons. Another great person to use is, of course, this guy here. What's his name again? Maltok. So this guy here is also great. He has a very similar setup. He actually can reduce the damage for physical damage as well, and he does have that reduced damage for evil men and orcs. So he's really good to use for those things. And a great thing is right here, he's actually does have rider bonuses. He's actually really good with riders. And I'm going to redo this unit, of course, as well. See, I would, if what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart this unit, because there's a lot of things that need to be changed with him. I was just messing around with here and just doing it because I don't really use him for battles. I was just leveling up. But if I was to seriously build him, I would actually do Easterling, get this upgraded all the way, and this upgraded all the way, that upgraded well, and then do the Wog Trainer right here, and get these two with the beast trainers and everything. That right there will make them really good. Defense up, crazy damage. He will be able to recover HP for your riders. That's how ridiculous it is. So the rider units will really benefit from him. You'll notice a lot of the evil men, and I noticed this a lot of the evil men commanders, they actually take advantage of a lot of mount units or beast units, whatever it is that they use, the giant dogs, and they actually do a lot really good with mount units. Now, that's for those type of those are type of units. So riders are definitely my favorite. They have been such a good blessing. As you see in that last video, they did 8,000 damage with the same amount of units as the Dragoons. They are just really ridiculously good. Hands down, some of the best units they are, and really good evil faction units because they're super fast, able to get there, kill the target on time, really good. And same with trackers. Tier 2 trackers are really good as well, because with tier 2 trackers, what you're gonna get is they're gonna target the unit with the lowest attack. So if the other person has really much anything, like archers are usually low in attack, they're going to be able to attack them out, and they also get the reduction of 10% as well. So you can actually use them really significantly well. But part 2, I'm not going to go into too much in tier 2 in this videos. I'm going into tier 3s. Now tier 2s, I am going to do it on part 2, what kind of tier 2 units you're going to use, especially ones that you're going to keep when you get into the long game afterwards, and ones that you're not going to use. So right now we're just going more into tier 3s. Tier 4s, I'm going to be honest, there's not a lot of great tier 4s for the evil faction. They definitely need some buff. There is some tier 4, the best actually tier 4 units would be Ruhan and Mordor. Those are the best. I would say those are the best tier 4 units, because they get a tier 4 troll. Tier 4 troll is good, but it's very expensive. And then with Ruhan, they actually get a cavalry unit. It's actually pretty fast. It's pretty good. I think it's like an upgraded Dragoon, and it does a lot of damage. Very fast and really good to use. I think that's what it is. It's like 2 Dragoons mixed into one, and the stats are like phenomenal for that one. I haven't seen it in a while, so I mean I can go to story and pull it up, but that's really all it is. So get the goat here. Let's go back. Let's talk about You know, let's talk about, actually, let's go on top. Let's finish this tree up. Let's talk about Reapers. Reapers are really good. Really good. I haven't used them I did use them before, but I didn't use them in this season because I really thought that Agmar tier 4 units were going to be amazing. And I really did use them in the beginning. I really did put some numbers into it, and then I realized they were bad. So then now I'm making Reapers to replace those kind of things. Now, Reapers are really good units. Really powerful, really strong. They're able to continuously do damage onwards to increase the damage, even though that even though if they survive, like I think it's turn 3, round 3, they get the most out of that. I could be wrong. It could just be 5 all the way. But what they're really good is targeting units with low defense. So these are kind of like anti-archers. They're really good. You can use them for that as far as anti-archers. Again, you want to put them on units that actually do high damage for physical. So you want to give them some power units. One that's actually really good to put on a commander is right here. He's actually really good to put him on. That's because of this right here. It's against range units, so you're able to deal damage to them. And right here, when you're against range units right there, you're able to do damage with them. And you're also able to receive more damage with this guy when you're facing range units, targeting the lowest health range units. Right here, this is how you're gonna build this guy too. It's pretty much anti-range. That right there is what you really want to do with him. The other ones, the physical damage, dealing with self-strike, normal physical. Don't bother with the focus damage. Well, dark mental will be really good with Reapers because they do hit a lot, and every turn they're doing consistent damage to all enemies. As much as they can every turn. So that is actually really good. But the focus damage, don't even bother with the focus damage. Now, the 50% of gaining damage, that's with the commander alone. Don't worry about that either. I think the best units that you can put them on in reality would probably be... Now, if this guy also does orcs too, if I remember... No. I'm trying to remember. Is it this guy? Ah, him. Right. Is it him? Yes. Okay, so yes, it's this guy. This is the guy I was talking about. So just like a rare commander, and you get him easily on the beginning, you'll be able to actually increase the damage of the Reapers with Warlord. Warlord is really good. You're able to do the damage excessively. Able to get that. I will be changing this guy for Reapers when I get them. I need to fully max out my Reapers. But another great thing is that they increase the speed and they reduce the damage that they take, which is really good because Reapers do not have a high defense or HP. They die pretty quickly. So you want to be able to do the damage, increase their speed, because their speed is okay. But if you're gonna able to increase that damage and able to do a lot, especially since this guy has very high beginning for a rare. I mean, he's a rare commander. Look at that, 220 physical damage is pretty good. This guy is doing really good. He's jacked up. You see those muscles? There's a reason for those muscles. It ain't for show, I can tell you that. It's maybe for hacking and slashing and cutting up people. But yes, another great one to use is this guy. This guy is brilliantly to use for Reapers. Why? Because of the stun factor. He's able to stun, and this guy is a true stun machine. He stuns so good. So you got yourself that suffer bleeds, infections, so that's going to do continuous damage every turn. And Reapers are good for units that do continuous damage every turn. For units that do bleed damage, or even, what's the other one called? Bleed, I think it's called... wounded or something like that. Anyways, but pretty much they're really good for that. Let me see here. All creatures for physical damage. No, it's just bleed. Maybe I was confused with something. Yeah, it's bleed. Okay, so yeah, for those, that's what you want to do because bleed really helps and it does really good. Berserkers also do good with him too, but I wouldn't really use Berserker for him. He does a lot of stun damage, so you can stun right there. It is fantastic. You just keep damaging and damage reduction, just stun, and this has a cooldown too. So every 2 rounds, it's going to go off, and it's extended 2 rounds. So when you stun them, it's going to last for 2 rounds. Hey, John, welcome back. So that's another thing you want to do with them, is you want to get effects. Reapers are more like things that you want to get effects every turn to help continue on. So when it does get 5 turn, you're just dealing more damage, which it's kind of a little bit difficult to get to turn 5. I'm not going to lie. Usually about in turn 4, usually the battle is determined, but you can last in turn 5 too. Turn 8 is very difficult. 7 and beyond are difficult. That guy's more for support, if I remember correctly. Let me look at his stats real quick. Deal, boom. Yeah, he's more for sieging, if I remember. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, this guy is for siege. He's 100% siege unit. So Reapers like that, and that's how you're going to be doing your Reapers. Let's go on to the next unit. That's done. Now let's go into Alchemists. Alchemists here are your siege units. They are just purely good for siege. I would only put them in focus. If you're going to use them for PvP, I don't recommend them for PvP. I'm going to say this 100%. I really don't recommend Alchemists for PvP. Some people may disagree with me, but 100% siege units, they're not the best. Yes, they do burn damage, and they are the best against Oathbreakers, who are weak against focus damage, which is like burn and stuff like that. I do not recommend them, though, at all, for PvP combat. They're definitely for sieging buildings. That 30 siege times 100 is ridiculous. That is about 3,000 damage just for one unit alone, and you can get like some crazy siege damage with them. Let's go into snipers. I'm not a big fan of snipers. I feel that there's other units that do a better job, but there are some people who like them, and they are part of the Urukai. Urukai, they do have some great abilities. Now, these are not terrible units. Don't get me wrong. These are actually excellent units. I personally like other ones better, like the Morgul Agrobasters, and everyone's like saying, but Gabriel, these are good against melee. They can target ranged units, but at the same time, you can actually get riders. I mean, you can get Dragoons. Dragoons are way better. They soak up damage and they're able to hit for the kind of cost that these guys have. For me, they're not as worth it. Yes, you get 100 units compared to 50, but their stats, their defense is so low, and same as their HP, that it's almost not worth the speed for them to even use, because they're not even fast consistently. I don't recommend them, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people like them, but I really don't recommend them. I really don't. If you do want to use them with commanders that do boost Urukai damage and that reduces damage from Urukai units. Those right there are going to be able to help you out majorly with those units, but I don't like them. Especially, I know a majority of people will say, hey, you know, Gabriel, they're really good against the good factions because they have all these range units. No, not really. Because either way, if you replace them with somebody stronger, your units are going to attack those range anyways, unless they have a unit that prevents you from attacking them, like swans. Like against Gundor, you want to be able to use these guys because swans soak up damage and you can do direct, but reality, the other guys, no. For majority units, and why run this for the one, it's not really worth it. I don't like snipers that much. I think they're really underpowered and they're too high cost, to be honest with you. That's my strong opinion on that. Now, another great unit here, which I wouldn't use, is trolls, mountain trolls. Now, mountain trolls are not siege units. I'm going to be honest with you. Don't make them for siege. They're not worth it. They're too expensive. And you won't make enough for full siege, for 5 siege teams. How to use them? Okay, how to use them? 1, you can mix them with our blasters, with the Morguls. So you're going to mix them with these guys here. You can mix mountain trolls with these because that way it protects them. Or if you have snipers, if you really want to use snipers, you mix mountain trolls with those. Because mountain trolls are just tanks. Even regular trolls for these, I think they're cave trolls, right? Yeah, cave trolls. They're just, honestly, they're just there for soaking up damage. They don't do a lot of damage. And they die really quick. I'm gonna admit they need to really work on these units. I stopped using mountain trolls. They were really good in the beginning until people figured out that they can easily kill them with just pure high numbers and damage, because mountain trolls are so slow. One, they're so slow, and they can do very little damage. So way how to beat mountain trolls, you just get mountain units and you just hit them there and you just really dish out the damage, and they go down pretty fast because you only get 4 mountain trolls per one, and the expense is 10,000 grain. I mean, 10,000 grain is so expensive. I don't know why they made them 10,000 grains. They should have just made them 5,000 grains. It would still be very hard because there's only 4 units per thing. It's only 4 units. Come on. I mean, like, they're not invincible. I mean, literally, I thought I was very disappointed because in beta, they were so good. And for people who watch those videos, when we finally took out that one building with the trolls, they were so good. They did so much damage. So much damage. And it was mortifying. But in here, and when it official open release, they're just terrible. I don't even like them, to be honest. They're over expensive. You can use them as blockades, I guess, to prevent them from killing your units. But at the same time, for the same cost that you're spending on grain here, you can get 100 units, 200 units, even 300 units for the same cost. I mean, apples to apples, oranges to oranges. They really need work on those. Those are not that good. And crushers, I absolutely dislike crushers. I don't like crushers whatsoever. I think, one, they do very little damage. Yes, their defense is high, their HP is decent, but they're super slow. Super slow. For the name of crushers, they do absolutely nothing. Now, they can be good as siege units. If you want to use them as siege units. You're better off making alchemists, unless you automatically get them, because I think Mordor gets them. So yeah, you can use them for siege units. They do 19 damage. You get 100 of them, so that's pretty decent siege damage. You're able to do a lot of damage with them, and they have high defense, so they're great as siege units. Yes, they can attack the lowest one. Yes, they can reduce the defense, but honestly, I don't like them. I really hate them. They're not good. They're too slow. They're almost tanky, but they're not as tanky as the good faction. The good faction has units that are 80, 100 defense. They're not as good as that. Their speed is very low, because the problem with evil factions, I'm going to say this really big. The problem with evil faction is you're not going to win the defense game. Never. You're not going to win by soaking up damage. You're not going to win by just, hoping that you can outlast them, or you're taking out their archers. It's not going to work. The way how you win an evil faction is fast, high damage, and getting it done early rounds. Because as the rounds continue on, unless you have Reapers, like I'm saying, Reapers can help because they do consistent damage. Unless you have Reapers, they're not going to able to help you out the way you needed to. It's going to disappoint you, and you're just not going to be able to have them. I don't recommend Crushers at all. Again, if you want to use them, they are part of the Orc class, so you can get them on a couple of good commanders and really increase their damage, which may be worth it. Or even give them some high soak damage. Like on some of the commanders will give you high soak damage, which they could be better used. Their cost is pretty good, and their reduction in making them are pretty good. You get 100 of them. It's just their stats, it's just little damage. It's just so little damage for a tier 3 unit. And tanks and evil faction are just not worth it. They're just not worth to use them. They're not. It's better to deal with the high damage, because you actually have a better chance at removing a unit with high damage than you do at tanking damage. Alright, so now we're going to move on. I think we only have one more unit. Yes, and then we'll call that a day, and then we'll go over tier 2 units. So, Corsairs are good. They're decent units. They are expensive. That's their downside. The wood cost is expensive, and same as the grain cost for what they are. You do get 100 of them. They are really good, though. I personally, the avoidance is whatever. Don't expect it to go off all the time. It's only 10%, people. Come on. 10% is not a lot. But their normal attack and burn damage is ridiculously good. I use these units on high focus damage, especially Kamal, and even Shadow. Shadow would be really good with these units. Reason why is that they have good speed, a good decent amount of damage, because not only doing their normal damage, but the opponent is taking burn damage. The HP is decent. The defense is pretty decent, and their siege is like ridiculous. So these units are an all-around unit. They're really good. I would make more of them if I would make more of them if I actually trained the commanders for them and actually use them properly. I just haven't really had time to make them, to be honest with you. Let me explain, okay? Before all you guys make up excuses for me and tell me that that's just an excuse, Gabriel, you can put in the time and effort. Let me explain. Let me show you the time that I've been. Do you not see what happened? Agmar has been crushed by over 200 teams. We just lost this today. We had 200 teams lost. I've been moving around from here I had to move all the way down here. By the time I got there, because of the stupid cooldown on the relocation, it's too long for the relocation spell. It should be 24 hours, not freaking 72 hours. That is ridiculous, a long time. And then I had to gain 500 silver to get that spell. It really was a pain. And we've been having a really bad time as Agmar in here. And for what I know, all Agmar players are having a bad time in the game because how unbalanced the units are. But don't think I have not been winning matches. I've been winning a lot of matches. So that's not the problem. Because you can always find a solution if you know how to do it. And I hope this video helps you guys and know what units you're going to be doing. Again, if you want to do Corsairs, there are amazing units, all-around units. The commanders I would build them with is, of course, Kamar. He's good. Oh, Sauron would be really good with them. Having a high focus damage with them, wonderful. Shadow is even a good one. Now, Shadow, you can actually do a mixture of Berserkers and Corsairs. They're really good as well. Here's another reason why you want to do Corsairs on these type of units, especially like Witch Kings and stuff, because they have this Ring Wraith that allows it to do more poison damage, more burn damage, max that out, and then they also have, with him, is all normal attacks. Normal attacks deal damage to all enemies. That is fantastic. And then he gets a poison damage. All normal attacks deal damage to all enemies is fantastic as well. So those are what I would recommend for the tier 3 units. This is part 1 of the unit reviews. We're going to be doing part 2 as for the tier 2 units. I decided to get the tier 3 units out of the way because I know everybody was asking about it. But yes, those are what I recommend. That's the kind of build I would do. They are fantastic. Make sure to, really play with them. And also, remember, if you are first time watching this and you're curious of playing Lord of the Rings, please click on the download link below. That right there will be able to help you download Lord of the Rings on your PC as well as your mobile. So, thank you all. I appreciate it. This is really great. And I hope everyone's excited because we're going to be entering Season 2. And I will be doing these more videos. Now, Season 2 is going to be a lot different. And I'm also going to be doing Rise of Warlord again. So, everyone be prepared. And we're going to have an awesome next season for both games. And we're going to have a wonderful next 3 months. So, keep in tune, keep watch. Have fun, everybody. Bye.